paddling on you. I said I had to give you something.
Yeah. We're ready to stand for the report.
Oh, good. That's
Okay, I will call the meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Our first item of business this evening is reorganization. So at this time, I will ask if there are any nominations for the office of chair.
Yeah, I'll nominate Jeremy. And he said he's more than happy to do it.
Do we
get some pay raise?
There you go. Is there a second on this nomination?
I'll second.
Are there any further nominations? Hearing none, we will close the nominations. At this time, all in favor of having Mr. Jeremy Sawicki sit as chair of the Planning Commission, say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? The ayes have it. I will turn it over to Mr. Sawicki. Congratulations.
I'll open the nominations for vice chair.
What's her name?
I'll nominate Christine Kaufman. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Marie second.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
Claire second. Sorry. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay. Roll call. Yeah.
Chris Prochaska.
Here.
Dennis Russell.
Here.
Jeremy Sawicki.
Here.
Joe Folsom.
Yep.
Claire Learn.
Here.
Jordan Merring.
Here.
Riz Kelly.
Here.
And Christina Kaufman and Kyle Van Fleet are absent.
Public comment. For public comment at the beginning of the meeting, you'll be permitted 3 minutes on agenda and non-agenda items. For action items, you may speak at the podium and be permitted 1 minute for your comments during that agenda item. Do we have any public comment at the beginning of the meeting? Anyone online?
Nope.
Oh, nope. Okay. Any announcements? Okay. I see we have correspondence. Okay. Is there anything we have to do with that? The Pocono Township sanitary sewer improvements, Penvest application land use letter to the MCPC?
It's mainly a bill for recommendation by the planning board.
So this is just a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. This is for the Penvest loan. Part of the Penvest loan that we're looking to pursue is for extensions, one of them being up Staten Road for the Court 5 and for the failing septic at Old Hall Court. The second extension is up to MCTI. Third extension is up Sullivan Trail to fix a lot of the failing sewer plants up that way, and also for a sewer sewer building supply storage shed. That being said, public, public, yeah, opinion work session comment is required of both PC and Board of Commissioners. So there's a letter in your packet, and we would just recommend, or we would ask the board to recommend this to the Board of Commissioners to move forward with those.
And this is
sewer
T&M's
changes.
letter dated January 8th.
That's from, yes, our sewer engineer, Michael gave
All
it.
right. I'll make a motion to recommend approval of the letter dated January 8th for the Pocono Township Senate. Oh, Joe, second. All in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Need comment. Any comment from the board? Any comment from the public here? Any comment online? All in favor?
Right.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of our December 8th meeting. Do I have a second? Claire, second. Any comment from the board? Any comment from the public? Anyone online? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. New business historic overlay ordinance review.
What is before the planning commission today is the ordinance that goes along with the zoning map that you had previously reviewed at your last meeting in December. And this is creating the historic overlay district. The map that you had previously reviewed and the parcels identified on the map are the exact same. This is, however, the ordinance that creates the district and lays out the transient dwelling unit prohibition. So what it's before the planning commission this evening for a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners. The Board of Commissioners will be holding a public hearing on this ordinance on January 27th at 6 p.m.
And this is the same information we looked at our last meeting.
The plan was, you had
Okay.
not seen the actual ordinance,
Okay.
the language of the ordinance. You had seen the plan. Previously, you had looked at another version of this ordinance, and there were just two minor changes. One of them was in the definition of transient dwelling unit, which had indicated any dwelling unit owned or managed by a person, which is rented or leased for a period of less than 30 days. We have changed the word person in the definition to landowner because that is a defined term in our zoning ordinance. So there was that change. And also in section 3 of the ordinance, we of course had to modify the acreage because it includes now more parcels than before. So those are the changes from the prior version of the ordinance that you had looked at.
I'll make a motion to recommend approval. Do I have a second?
I'll say that.
Okay, Dennis, second. Any comment from the public? Any comment online? Any comment from the board? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Chicken ordinance review.
So as part of your packet, you had copy from the Minor County Planning Commission in regards to their statements as far as the chicken ordinance. Everyone had a chance to look it over.
That's right after the ordinance, the historic overlay. Oh, okay. And then section 4 is where it's conditional use and permitted. Does that match?
Put it on the screen for you.
Okay, thank you. there, but we have in our packet, I think it's the actual ordinance. Do we have that in our? Pardon?
Draft, yeah.
Okay, yes, that's what
Yep. And here's a copy of the review
okay.
letter.
So it looks like it, for keeping a fowl, it's permitted everywhere. Conditional use would be for recreational use, public, nonprofit, non-commercial would be conditional use everywhere. And then the conditions, the keeping up to 2 fowl may be permitted on a lot with a minimum area of 10,000 square feet. 1 additional fowl may be kept for each additional lot area of 5,000 square feet. Fowl shall in all cases be confined to the property of the owner of the fowl. And the keeping of roosters shall be permitted on a lot with a minimum lot area of 5 acres.
Correct.
Okay.
As you can see, the county had came back in and said overall our amendment is generally consistent with the Pennsylvania Municipal Planning Code. Same thing with the amount of hens that are being kept. They did have a comment here in regard to roosters. The proposed amendments would permit the accessory keeping of roosters for lots over 5 acres. There is no maximum on the number of roosters being established, nor are there any mitigating standards for the keeping of roosters. The keeping of roosters, particularly within a residential district, poses a serious concern to the quiet enjoyment of property. And it is unknown if considerations such as distance to the nearest neighbor's compatibility or surrounding uses or noise mitigation techniques were taken into consideration. It is strongly recommended that this provision be removed and that the keeping of roosters be confined to commercial agricultural operations. If you remember, this ordinance was taken from Chestnut Hill, where they do allow the roosters. Stroud Township is currently going through a zoning ordinance for the keeping of chickens for theirs, where they do not permit roosters. Going back and forth, talking about this at Board of Commissioners meetings for the past 6 months. The latest revision was to allow the roosters.
Now, the Monroe County Planning Commission, it sounds like their commenting was not so much allowing it, but that it wouldn't put a limit or a cap on the number of roosters. Thus could be creating a noise.
Yeah, a possible noise problem versus the setback of where it would go.
5 acres.
Correct.
Okay. So are we looking to act on this evening, make a,
Recommend it.
Just to recommend to go forward with the ordinance.
I got a question. If this passes, the ordinance passes, which more than likely is gonna pass. More than likely it's gonna pass. Is it gonna be grandfathered? The people that have chickens now under the old ordinance, that are they gonna have to apply to the new ordinance? Like, not everybody has 5 acres.
That's just for roosters if they wanted to have roosters on their property.
Okay.
So hens are different. What makes this interesting is zoning allows it currently and Saldo prohibits it. So this is another reason that we've been working on this for so long. So unless somebody has a non-conforming use waiver already in place, they would not be grandfathered.
I'll make a motion to send it forward.
Claire, Joe made the motion, Claire second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment?
Hey, guys.
Happy New Year. How are you?
It's correct. 10,000 square feet. You got two different measurements in this ordinance. You have it in square feet and then you have it in acreage. Excuse me. 10,000 square feet is about a quarter of an acre. And it says in there, if I read it correctly, it was on the screen pretty quick. It's 5 chickens per quarter acre. Is that what I read?
2. Up to 2 fowl for 10,000 square feet.
Okay, up to
And then-
2 chickens per quarter acre.
And then an additional fowl may be kept for each additional lot area of 5,000 square feet.
Okay, changing with the acreage and consistently throughout the thing, and that way people know what they're looking at and they don't have to hit the internet. aside of that, if I'm reading it correctly, that you're banning roosters.
No,
It says for anything but commercial use.
nope. The
Got it.
keeping of roosters shall be permitted on a lot with a minimum lot area of 5 acres. So to your point, if it's 10,000 square feet, 5,000 square feet under one, we're referencing acres under two. So
That
yeah.
would be needs to be consistent, but does it say anything else further down that paragraph?
with respect to
The roosters and commercial use.
the recreation, public, nonprofit, non-commercial would be conditional use. So under section 4 of where it's permitted, conditional use would be for recreation use, public, nonprofit, and non-commercial would be a conditional use.
Okay,
But nothing, the only thing down further past that is the sanitary and nuisance controls.
cool. So then roosters will be permitted
If-
within the certain guidelines of the
Correct, a
land.
minimum lot of 5 acres.
And that's very reasonable. What about noise? Any?
Noise is.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest objection to roosters was the noise, waking us
I
up in the
think
middle.
that's probably where the 5 acre minimum.
Doesn't bother me at all. I like roosters. I like chickens. I'm just trying to make sense of the ordinance. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah, thank you.
Any other public comment?
Matt Long. I just want to say the acreage square feet conundrum. I saw that initially as well, but I mean, 10,000 feet. I think an acre is about 43,500, if my memory's correct. So it's not like, you know, a fifth of an acre. It's not a very, you can't just, yeah, so it's almost a quarter of an. So I think it's fine as it is, to be honest, because it's, yeah, it's very specific, and I just wanted to say that. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
First, Frank Reilly, Pocono Township President. I have some pamphlets I made here.
Thank you.
I don't know how many. I think I made 8. So I might have to share. So basically, I put this together, and it's basically rooster regulation versus population density. And that's because like Jared had stated, the local townships around us have banned them. Stroud Township is on the way to banning them, or it's with their solicitor now, so they haven't voted on it. Middle Smithfield has, Coolbaugh has, as has Smithfield. And I've highlighted the parts in the ordinances. I looked it up on Eco 360.
So your specific concern really is just related to the roosters?
Yes, just the
Everything else-
roosters.
Okay, so you're,
Yeah.
okay.
And I mean, I was active in getting that down to the 5 acres, but I know everybody's kind of talking about it, so I'm just putting this out there,
Right.
just for roosters in general. But you know, the noise issue is that if you Google it, they can reach up to between 130 and 140 decibels. Okay, to give you a comparison on that, a half mile away, that's 63 decibels. Lawnmowers, chainsaws, and backpack blowers, they're somewhere between 90 and 110. And let's see, gunshot, 140 decibels. So they're maybe a little less than a 30-06 in the woods. But the sound can travel very far. So anything less than 5 acres, or quite frankly, even 10, with them being in a residential neighborhood, people who work at night, wearing earplugs is not harmony as the current ordinance says. That's not harmonious for the other people in the township. If they live in a half acre, you know, and wearing earplugs is not reasonable.
But they have to be in a minimum of 5 acres. I don't think there's a lot of
Correct.
people that have over 5 acres of the 5 acres.
Right. And again, I'm just, I'm stating this because other people have come up and stated, will have their feeling on it. And, I could live with 5 acres, but I'm just saying that, maybe everybody can't. And if the county is really not keen on that, I know it doesn't say limit to one rooster from the
Right.
county, but really any rooster in R1 could potentially cause problems for the township. Doctors, everybody sleep, a lot of people work at night,
Mhm.
so they have to sleep during the day. So I would take that into consideration.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank
You
you.
heard roosters crowing at night? You have? Oh, all right.
Morning, it's not about sleep during the day. My neighbor had a rooster, and when I closed my garage door, I opened my garage door, the thing would go off all day long. They're not just like a one-time thing at 4 o'clock in the morning. They wake you up. They go off. They're just like a dog, and a dog bark is at 90 decibels on average. These things go from 130 to 140, so the sound carries.
And would that, would that be permitted in the 5 acres? Do you know if the property's 5 acres, your neighbor?
It is not.
Okay.
So not that one. There are neighbors around me that have 5 acres. Absolutely.
Right.
So that is still a concern to me.
Absolutely.
But I think that should be a concern to anybody who doesn't want roosters. Chickens, have all the chickens you want, whatever the ordinance says, but the noise can be excessive. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Anyone online? Oh, another comment? Oh, anyone online? Okay.
Logic dictates if I have a chicken coop and I have 5 acres, logically speaking, I'm probably going to have that chicken coop somewhere near the house. So even though I have 4 acres behind me, the rooster in question, or roosters, would be closer to the road, closer to where the other neighbors are. So I don't know if you're considering any kind of placement within that 5 acres or not, or just saying you got 5 acres, you have enough buffer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, placement's not referenced.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm just thinking.
Yes. And so I didn't. Frank Reilly, Township President. I did not print out the distances, but Stroud, I'm sorry, not Stroud, Middle Smithfield and Smithfield, I believe, have minimum requirements for distance from the property line. I think it's somewhere between, don't hold me to this, 150 to 200 feet from a property line. So you can't have your coop or any of that stuff that close to the
And that's
property line.
just the chicken coop in general, no rooster.
You'd have to look up the whole thing. It might be in what I printed out, but I did not print the entire ordinance just because it was multiple pages. So, but they do go into specifics. They talk, some townships have even requested permits. And the reason they're doing that, I called Stroud Township the other day, and they told me that theirs is with their solicitor now. The reason that they are requiring permits is basically for the safety of the chickens. I know that sounds crazy, but there's a lot of people who have second homes out here, and I mean, I'm from Jersey from years ago, but nonetheless, people will come out here and they'll think they live on a farm, and they may want chickens, and they put them in their vacation home to come up every Saturday. I don't know if that's, it may not be sanitary, just food for thought. Not to say people will, but requiring a permit allows the township to figure out who's got them. I'm not saying you got to charge them for it. It can be a permit as long as something's on file so people know who has what, so that if there is an issue, they know where to go, meaning the township, zoning, whoever. So, but some of these other, Chestnut Hill is very lenient. The one we based ours on, very lenient compared to Middle Smithfield or Smithfield. And, so there's that. Any other questions? I've done my research on it.
Any other comment? Okay, we had a first and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. And this moves it to the Board of Commissioners. So it does not mean that it's improved in its current format. This is just a recommendation to the Board of Commissioners for them to formulate the final version.
It'll go up for public hearing.
Okay, so then there's additional time for more comment. MCTI rezoning request.
Good evening. Feels like I've been here every week last month. Some of you have heard this going on 3 times now, so I'll try to make it quick. But for those of you who this is the first time hearing it, my name is Dennis Verga. I'm the director at Monroe Career and Technical Institute. What I'm here for this evening is we are looking to rezone property that is adjacent to the school. So currently we own about 18, or actually not about, it is 18 1-acre lots that were subdivided years ago for student-built housing. We have not built a house. The last house was completed in 2006. Main reason for that is because there was no road put in. It's a paper road right now. And as you guys know, being in running a township, putting a road in is rather expensive. What we want to do is we want to rezone these properties to move that project along, and also to create an avenue for future growth for the school. So I'll go over it real quick. So currently, for those of you who aren't familiar with the school, we serve the 4 districts in Monroe County. So we serve Pocono Mountain, Pleasant Valley, East Stroudsburg, and Stroudsburg. We currently have over 1,200 students, grades 9 through 12, which is the most we've ever had. So we continue to grow. Also, a lot of people don't realize outside of the 9 through 12, we serve between 600 and 800 adult learners in the evening for career trade programs. One of the challenges that we're running into is the demand for career and tech ed. So if you want to go, Jared, to the next 2 slides, I guess you could go. That's our current enrollment trend. So you can see we've grown tremendously. But the challenge that we're running into, like I said, is the wait list. So in the last couple of years, we've had over 600 students, grades 9 through 12, who've applied to MCTI who have not been placed simply because we have no room. As you guys probably are aware of, we just completed an addition that opened up at the beginning of this year, which created about 125 seats, which was great. It also answered a lot of other challenges that we had, but it still does not meet the size that we need. Now, I will tell you this, there are no plans right now to do this. I have a lot of bosses that I'd have to work with. I have 4 school district school board members I have to work with. I have 4 superintendents. But the first step is this. So one of the things we learned when we put this recent addition on, Jeremy, if you want to go to the next, or Jared, if you want to go to the next slide, is the zoning up there is a little unique. So our current school is in the orange area, and we are zoned R2. The lots that we're talking about are R1. So it's not just high density, it's also, it was a zoning issue for us. So when we put that addition on, which you can't see on that picture because that picture's a little bit older, we actually had to come to you guys and file for a variance because the addition came too close to the zoning line. Even though it was our property, we still had to pay a variance, a $10,000 variance, because we were too close to that zoning line. So we really want to avoid that moving forward. Now, I will tell you again, there are no immediate plans. Some of the discussions that we have been talking about are in the back of the building. So if you go to the next slide, you can get a better view. So at the top of the screen is the front of the building, in the back, which nobody can get behind. So there's no residential housing back there. We have our diesel building back there, and that little hillside right there is where we would look to put another addition to meet student demand. Those lots are the ones in the blue dots are the lots that I'm talking about that currently the school owns that we would like to pursue going back to student projects. It would require me to obtain money probably through grants to get that road put in. But ideally, we would start building those houses. Those houses in the top, our kids are all adults now. But those were houses built by former students at MCTI. So if we got that moving, it's about 2 years per house. We then turn around and sell it. We auction it off. You get another Pocono Township resident. We use those funds to keep building the next house. It just gives the students that live work that we're looking for. So that's part of it. And also, like I said, the idea is to add an addition in the back of the school. That's where we would have space. Ideally, the programs we would want is a second welding program, a heavy equipment program, a vet tech program. But like I said, if you look at the back of the building, if you're not familiar with the campus, there's no residential zone back there or no residents back there. It's actually a power line that runs behind us. So that's what we're looking to do, just to hopefully get the student growth that's in demand. Hopefully we can start meeting that. Again, there is no immediate developments, but what the board is asking, my board, is trying to get that rezone so we don't run into those variance issues that we ran into this past year. Any questions for me? I tried to go as quickly as possible. Yeah.
Will the homes be on septic mounds and wells, or are they going to be on public water?
That's a great question. So the last time I was here last week, so as you guys know, and we are really, really hoping we can get that sewer line up to the school sooner than later. We have our own sewage plant that is very old and a liability right now. So one of the questions I got to reach out to Pat is, would it make sense, because the school's right there, would it make sense to run that sewer line that extra distance? So that's something I have to talk to your engineers about. Right now, when they were rezoned, or not rezoned, when they were subdivided, it was for their own wells, their own septics. So all those lots are 1 acre lots.
But MCTI is currently on city water.
Yes, we are. We did that, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe.
Any other? I'll make a motion to recommend approval for the rezoning of West.
I'll second
Joe,
it.
second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Do you have a comment? Okay.
Frank Riley, Township resident. I was actually at the last commissioners meeting as well, and I was actually discussing this kind of with him as well as the board. My only concern with it, and it doesn't affect me, right? But the issue becomes where the lots up there in the blue, those are all R1. And while, you would obviously want to put an addition on, you're thinking out back, but as soon as all of those lots go to R2, they are now eligible to be built on with a school. They could put another 50,000. I'm not saying they have the funding yet. I'm not saying anything like that. But theoretically, in the future, once they are zoned R2, all of them, that could be a huge complex back there. And going forward in the township, time-wise, I understand that, the addition that they're talking about building now would help alleviate the 600 and change students that can't go. But in the future, let's say they decided, hey, we got the grants, we can put a bigger school in because we have it R2 now. And they want to take, say, those 4 or 5 lots around the loop closest to the school. Like the 4 in the blue there and the 2 in the center island, if you will. And they wanted to put the building up to up there. But then as the population drops from, people just aren't having kids anymore. Not a lot of them. So all of a sudden, Pocono Township's holding the bag with a large half-empty school. Stroudsburg's already dealt with it with the one up on the by PJ's. Then East Stroudsburg Area School District, they're already talking about closing. I think it's JTL or whatever it is, and because partially that's an old building, but there's also because the population is not, the kids are not coming in. The population can be coming in. It's just that it's couples, single people, and they're not having kids. So I just want to make everybody aware that once that goes to R2, the entire place could be a building. That's my only concern. And with 30 years, if you gave them half of it by the school to R2, that gives them 15 years worth of building. As far as if they want to then increase, you wouldn't have to pay for a variance because it'd be R2. So you'd have half your acreage available to either build houses on, or if you wanted to, 5 years, 6 years from now, put a school on it if they deem it necessary. I just think to do it halfway allows them to go either way in the future. But if you do it all the way and then somebody jumps the gun, it could cost the taxpayers a lot of money. Thank you.
Any other public comment? Any comment online? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Special exceptions. Do we have someone online for EPT Ski Properties? Mr. Schubert?
Yes, good evening. Can you hear me, Planning Commission?
Yes,
member?
we hear you.
Oh, that's great. I'm the attorney here tonight on behalf of Verizon Wireless, and I want to thank the Planning Commission for allowing me the opportunity to attend via Zoom. It was a great convenience, and I'm certainly happy that the township is still offering that as an option. But I'm the attorney who's going to be representing Verizon Wireless at a zoning hearing board hearing that is scheduled for February 27th. I'm sorry, January 27th of this year. So we are here before the Planning Commission to present the application, at least the substance of it, and hopefully have a positive recommendation from the Planning Commission. We submitted an application for a special exception, which is permitted by the township code for this type of facility. Although the particular installation would be considered a communications tower, in actuality, it would be more akin to what's known as a small cell site. What is being proposed is the installation of the antennas on a telephone pole that is going to be placed in a maintenance area kind of central to the property, just on the south side of the parking lot at the base of the mountain. I also have submitted with the application 2 minor variance requests. The one is with regard to the fencing requirement. Now, what is being proposed is essentially a 10 by 20 foot compound, a relatively small compound, 200 square feet in area. The requirements under the code for what would be considered a macro site or one of the larger sites is an 8-foot tall fence. But in this instance, Verizon is proposing a 6-foot fence because it's already at the back of a maintenance shed area removed from a lot of access for the public and any other vehicular traffic. So the thought was that having a smaller fence would be less intrusive. There's also a requirement under the code to secure a letter of intent that would offer the installation for co-location to other wireless providers. But in this instance, as a small cell facility, only being 58 feet in height, there really would be limited options for any co-location for other wireless providers. So we have submitted, just in an abundance of caution, to request a variance from that particular requirement under the township code. I can get into more of the details. I forwarded over to the township a PDF of the exhibits we intend to introduce to the zoning hearing board at the time of the hearing. I can also share my screen. I've uploaded them to my computer and can share my screen if there's any particular questions that the planning commission members might have regarding the installation or the need for the installation.
Mr. Schubert, I have the files pulled up here. If you could just let me know which one you'd like me to put up on the screen.
Well, I guess the real story for the issue of need would be applicant's exhibit A6. And in particular, page 3 of that exhibit. Right. Now, this is a little bit difficult to see on the screen, but the Camelback Mountain area is this area right here, right in the bottom portion where, perfect. And the area of difficulty here, because Verizon does have sites surrounding this area, one to the southwest known as Rocky Ridge, which is actually on the one of the saddles on the back saddle of Camelback Mountain. The top of the mountain is just right to the right of that, where the highest peak is of the Camelback Mountain. But what's happening here is because of the Obviously, a tremendous demand for wireless services from the resort itself, both winter and summer. There is an area of coverage that is overburdening that one sector that's pointing from Rocky Ridge kind of to the northeast from the Rocky Ridge location. And it's resulting in a lot of dropped calls during the winter season and also the summer season. And what is being proposed is a small cell facility known as Camelback Ski Resort to be located just immediately south of that main parking lot area on the mountain itself. And if you can go to the next slide. Perfect, next page. Now, once this facility would be put on air, that area that was suffering the lack of coverage and capacity coverage is now going to be in green. So essentially, the main purpose of this small cell is to provide offloading from that Rocky Ridge site to the southwest and provide additional capacity coverage and coverage during the peak season, both during the winter and summer months for the Camelback Resort. And that kind of shows that coverage at that location. And in terms of the other requirements under the code, the other exhibits that are being offered and have been and will be submitted to the zoning hearing board are intended to meet all the requirements under the Township Code 470-52 for communication towers. We'll have to discuss and establish to the satisfaction of the zoning hearing board that we meet all the special exception requirements and the general conditions set forth in the ordinance at subsection 37. We'll have a radio frequency engineer that will testify, as well as a professional engineer that will testify to all those issues that would be required for the special exception. In addition, there are particular requirements under the telecommunications section of the ordinance that require we establish such things that the facility will operate in accordance with the accepted power levels of the FCC, that it won't create any unreasonable or harmful radio interference with any other radios or radio-based technology, that we're not going to create any hazard to air traffic navigation, planes, things like that, which with 58-foot, essentially a telephone pole, that certainly won't be an issue. In addition, we have to establish that we have all the required FCC licenses to operate in the area, which really, by and large, makes up the other exhibits that would be presented to the zoning hearing board. Now, I'm happy to go through in any more detail or address any specific questions that the planning commission members might have regarding the application. Yeah, thank you. This is the aerial view of the location. You can see that the main parking lot is just to the top of that exhibit, and that red pointer is the location of the telephone pole that would be put in. And that's right next to essentially that building right to the right is more of a shed, a storage shed for salt and sand materials. And this is kind of a maintenance area for the mount itself. And this area just to the bottom of the screen is, I understand, a pool during the summertime. So it's going to be at the back part of that pool area.
How tall is the pole again?
58 feet overall.
Any other questions? So Lisa, could you just explain then what our responsibility is for the?
Certainly. Because this is a special exception, the zoning ordinance has a requirement that the planning commission have an opportunity to review and make any specific comments regarding the application. If there's anything that of specific concern regarding the proposed use, they can set forth reasonable conditions. But ultimately, the role of the planning commission is to make a recommendation to the zoning hearing board as to whether or not to grant the special exception. And a special exception is a permitted use. It's not permitted by right, but by being permitted as special exception, there's the criteria that Attorney Schubert just briefly discussed, and he'll have to make sure that he introduces the testimony at the zoning hearing to address all of that criteria. So if you have any questions of Attorney Schubert regarding what he went through, you can.
This is just for Camelback?
I'm
Sorry,
sorry.
this is just for Camelback, this tower?
Yeah, it's essentially for Camelback, but there will also be the additional benefit of offloading coverage for the Rocky Ridge site to the southwest. So that site provides additional coverage around the area. And what's happening with the Rocky Ridge site is it's being overloaded because of the demand from the Camelback site. So coverage will improve to anybody who's receiving service from the Rocky Ridge site as well.
It shouldn't be, because they have the FAA. They mentioned about that. This won't interfere with the helipad they have. Because you had mentioned you have to take into consideration FAA regulations, right?
That's right. No, it won't. And what happens with regard to yeah, that's a location on the resort property. I'm not really sure where the helipad is for the mountain.
The
But
helipad's right over here.
Yeah.
Close to Aquatopia.
Okay.
And over here is where the cell tower would be.
yeah, and again, at 58 feet, there are other structures, and probably a lot of the trees are higher than that in that area too at the bottom.
I'll make a recommendation to the zoning hearing board.
To approve it or to.
View it.
No, it would be, the zoning hearing board would have to make a decision, so it would be a recommendation to either approve or deny the application, so.
Recommendation to approve it.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Sure, second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment?
Okay, thank you for your time. I very much
Oh, we're not done yet.
There's
I'm
something-
sorry.
Sure.
Hold on. We're in the comment for this motion.
Oh,
Hi, Ellen Gannant. I had no problem when it was in the parking lot, but it's so close to the pool. And that's 5G. So I'm thinking the radiation coming off of that for the people there. I mean, that's been
Yeah,
proven by
we-
our residents. Do you have any data on that?
yeah, we have another report. I'll have a radio frequency engineer, Andrew Peterson, testify. Applicant's Exhibit 8 is an electromagnetic exposure analysis report that is required to be prepared and considered whenever we're talking about any of these types of facilities. And what Mr. Peterson would testify to is that with regard to this facility operating at what he calls upper limit assumptions, meaning that operating at constant full power at the height that's proposed, that it would represent essentially 11% of the applicable FCC standard or requirements, which essentially what that means is that at 11%, you could have nine additional facilities, or a total of 9 facilities, if you could physically locate them at that point, operating at full power, and you'd still be within the FCC exposure limits. So, from that standpoint, there won't be any concern.
I can't speak to it, but I know there's new data out there that the feds have not recognized yet. But that will be probably a question that comes up. Just we're hoping you.
Understood. And I know Mr. Peterson has dealt with the issue many times before, and there is a lot of the information that is out there is misinformation. It's a lot of junk science that you find on the web, on the internet. So I know that is typically a concern that is expressed. But again, the requirement that any telecommunications provider like Verizon Wireless has to address is those limits. And this again would be well below the upper level limits that are established.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comment?
Frank Greeley, Pocono Township resident. The only question I would have is this poll, is will other carriers be able to lease off of it for up there, or are they going to have to try and find another area to put a pole in?
Yeah, that's a requirement under the code for a telecommunications tower. The code doesn't really have any provision for small cell facilities like this. And the practical issue is that the small cells, by virtue of the name, are a lot smaller and have a smaller footprint. And at 58 feet, there really wouldn't be any ability of locating anything effective below that. I know AT&T, I was before the township about 2 years ago. AT&T had the same problem at this location with the resort property. And actually AT&T had established 2 other small cells. One that is off of, and I forget the name of the road. It's one of the main access roads. It might be Camelback Drive heading in. And another small cell which was located further away from the location. So I know all the providers try the best that they can to utilize their existing infrastructure when and where they can. If this was a 120 foot tall monopole tower, I think there'd be no question that there'd be the ability of co-locating on that. But at 58 feet in the telephone pole, it's unlikely that anybody else would be interested in that site. However, that said, if another provider would come along and seek to co-locate on that pole, all the providers have co-location agreements, and that certainly would be something that would be available.
Okay, thank you.
Any other public comment?
So this cell tower will be available for anybody to Verizon. It's just being put in place because of the capacity that Camelback is consuming. True.
That's correct.
Okay.
Or the issue being created by all the people who are utilizing their cell phones to take pictures, take video, and then send it out to their that sort of thing. We've gone beyond the days of just voice for the telephone. Everybody now has to take a picture or a video and then immediately send it out. Like, look at my grandson skiing down the hill. We're going to take that picture, and then of course that creates the additional need for additional capacity for the networks.
Yeah, a little familiar with the technology. The lowest limit on a 58 foot pole, you say it's 58 feet?
58 feet? No. So the next, if there was another provider who wanted to utilize that pole, the next available, usually the rule of thumb is 10-foot separation. So the next level would be 48 feet down.
Right. And how low can you go?
You can go all the way down to the ground, but then you're going to run into the issue of having your signals be interfere with trees and buildings and all that. So the only real issue would be, I think, to go up above that as opposed to going down.
So as written, I mean, there's no restriction at all of another vendor going 10 feet below yours and in a second 10 feet below that, other than the fact that they may not achieve their desired results only because of the height and the trees and it's 5G and it doesn't go through water, it doesn't go through walls, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, but again, I've never seen a facility, most rooftop facilities kind of max out at 40 feet, and going below that, you're not going to really see that.
Would there be anything from the board that could restrict it straight up to stop it? He's never seen it. It's highly unlikely. It's not gonna happen, but so then put it in the rule.
Well, I've actually asked for a variance, so I don't have to address that requirement. And if there'd be a restriction that there'd be no further co-location on that pole, I know that Verizon wouldn't have any problem with that.
Yeah,
I-
it sounds like
That would be a fine condition.
that might be something to consider. You get the radiation thing, and then if just one other thing is don't skimp on the fence, right? I mean, it looks like this thing is pretty close to a parking lot next to a maintenance building across from a pool. If the fence is a safety issue and it has to be 8 feet versus 6 feet, don't skimp on the fence.
And those would be excellent points for the hearing, the special exception hearing, because the zoning hearing board is the board that would make those requirements in the special exception.
Yeah, it'd just be nice not to know, it's Verizon. It's almost
So those might be things. that-
monopolistic to allow just one vendor on there, and I would agree with that, but I would set, if not a restriction on other vendors, I would have set a restriction on how low they can go. The lower to the ground, the more radiation to the populace. That's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Any other public comment here? Any comment online? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you again. Thank you for your time and
Thank you.
accommodation. Take care.
Mountain Edge Village Community Townhouses. Yeah.
Good evening. So I've been here a couple different times. Last time, I think we went through the waiver requests. So I don't know if you want me to go back through this whole thing again, but if you guys have any questions, but I'm here tonight. We revised plans. We actually got rid of the permeable pavement, went to regular pavement in the area in front of the townhouse units there. And then we redid the stormwater. We went back and resubmitted everything, and we're down to pretty much, I think, one comment on plans that I have to revise, which is an ENS comment. And then otherwise, it was just we did a cost
That you talked to
Well-
commissioners about, which
yeah, the sidewalk.
and the cost estimate, which we've already reviewed and sent back to you.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so we're pretty much down to, I think there was one outside agency permit, which was the NPDES from DEP that we were looking for, the updated permit.
oh yeah, I just asked about that. So actually Gene's in Florida, so I gotta talk to him about that. But Prosser's does all the permitting, so they should have all that. So I just have to get that.
Outside agency, which would not hold up a recommendation.
Okay.
And then
And this
I
is
think
TNM's
yeah,
letter
there was just one
dated
comment.
December.
Yeah.
18th.
December 18th, yes.
So essentially we'll comply with that letter.
Yes, we can comply by the name.
Yeah. So what are we looking at? The final approval, is that what we're?
It was a preliminary final.
Preliminary, oh, sorry.
I have a question, couple of questions.
The-
As far as the recreation area fee,
Yeah,
I take it you're gonna pay the cash rather than put in a,
we had asked for a waiver. I don't think that's
Yeah,
addressed
so
by you guys.
Bruce, that's one that will go to the Board of Commissioners
Yeah.
directly.
Yeah, there was two, the sidewalk and that one that goes
Right.
to the board.
That's been standard, it's their standard procedure to just send those directly to the board.
Any other? All right. I'll make a motion to, oh, To recommend preliminary final pending based on T&M's letter December 18th, Dennis second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Oh, comment? Sure. Any comment online? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
And then I guess we don't have to, this is all part of this now. We don't have to worry about tabling or anything because we made that formal. Okay. Members first. Hello.
Place is gonna pay.
Good evening. My name is Terry Delo. I'm with Integrated Consulting here this evening with Mike Martin of Members First. We've been here a few times as well talking about the waivers. So this evening, what we would like to do is discuss the waivers with you that we're looking to get a recommendation on. This will allow us to have action from the board on the waivers to determine how we're going to move forward with our formal revision to the subdivision, or I'm sorry, the land development plan that we'll be resubmitting back to the township to address T&M's review comments from October 31st.
Are you looking at your letter then dated January 8th?
That is correct. Okay. Yes. So there's a total of 6 waivers on there. I'd be happy to just start. I know we kind of had reviewed. Okay, perfect. We had reviewed them a few times, I think, in the past, but we'll go back through them again. So the first one is for the maximum slope embankment for the basin. So this is a requirement of taking the 4-to-1 down to a 3-to-1, and that would just be in the location that's surrounding and part of the stormwater management facility.
And that is a waiver that often comes before planning commission. 3-to-1 side slopes are perfectly maintainable and would be acceptable.
Right. Make a motion to recommend approval for 390-50.D5. Have a second? I'll second. Okay, Dennis, second. Any comment from the board?
Yeah, I have one. Sure. Seems like a lot of people are coming in looking for slope exemptions. I can tell you this 3-to-1 slope in this area with our soils erodes. If they want to put in a 3-to-1, then they should put in erosion mats to prevent the dikes from sloughing off. If we don't do something here, I'd like to put or consider that when we're talking about ordinance updates.
And that we have our meeting the 26th about that.
I just would like to get it on as an agenda.
That's something you could do.
I'm sorry.
Do you have ENS fabric on your 3-to-1 slopes?
I believe that we do.
Even a temporary.
Yeah, I believe that we do, but we can confirm that and double check.
Okay. Any other?
Not a problem to
Okay.
install that.
Okay, great. So you'll be able to install that.
We will.
Okay. So then let's just make a note then that they agree that they to install that. All right. Any other comment from the public? Anyone? Any comment online? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Sorry. Right. There was some feedback or something. So the second one is the WB50 truck turning movements. And this is a waiver to provide that simply because we don't see WB50 trucks turning into the Members First sites. They don't get regular deliveries from larger vehicles. The largest vehicle you'll see is, a WB Mason or delivery vehicle for supplies, for office supplies, or an armored vehicle.
Right. So the WB50 is a tractor trailer, which
You're not getting tractor trailers in money.
tractor trailers full of money.
Unless they're doing real good.
Right.
The fire company has reviewed this and and is familiar with the
Okay.
proposal.
Yeah. Okay, did you say, okay, Chris made the motion, do I have a, Dennis second? Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Any comment online? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, so the next one I'm going to go over to the board. This is related to another slope analysis, and this is the maximum steep slope disturbance. So our plan proposes to disturb up to 74%, I believe, of the maximum steep slopes that are on the site. The ordinance requires a maximum of 35 to be disturbed. We're talking about the portion of the site that's here in the back section that is associated with these natural non-man-made steep slopes. So while it's a larger percentage from 35 to 74, it's actually about 0.08 acres or 3,355 square feet of the 4,530 square feet that exist on the site. So it's not acres worth of disturbance. We're talking 3,300 square feet compared to what would be if the site was fully covered by those steep slopes. So we feel that the location of the site driveway, which is where the placement needs to be across from the new Wawa entrance, as well as this buffer that we had, I think, mentioned before, there's a riparian buffer associated with a wetlands that's off the property to the east of our site. That's kind of limiting where we're able to put the store the Members First branch, as well as the parking and the drive-through facilities. So we're not able to really situate the site any differently to disturb less. Additionally, we are retaining as much as possible by installing a retaining wall off to the north side and the east side of the proposed drive-through area.
From an engineering perspective, the very small amount of steep slopes do not have any engineering benefit per se. So we don't really see a benefit to, or a disbenefit to allowing them to disturb that small amount. It is a very small.
Make a motion.
Joe made the motion. Fair say. Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Any comment online? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. The last three are associated with parking lot plantings, as well as some buffering and street trees that are required. So a little layout of the site just for reference. You're all familiar with it, I'm sure. Bartonsville Avenue as well as 611. There's a large clear site triangle that exists at the corner where the intersection and the signalized intersection is, as well as there's a utility easement that runs along the frontage of the property along 611. So the request, the first one on here, is for minimum parking lot planting islands. So due to the location of the islands that exist within the perimeter of the store, the fact that we need security cameras and constant visual for the building itself, what we're proposing to do is to take those plantings that would be required in the islands closer to the store on either side and move those out towards the parking lot. So they're still kind of in the parking lot area, but off to the side, as opposed to being up against the building. Again, safety issue with visibility for the site and the cameras, as well as the lighting.
Yeah, we had no issue with that. But it's actually, sometimes we do actually even consider those areas as landscape islands.
Okay. Blair made the motion. Okay, Joe second. Any comment from the board? Any comment online, in person? Any comment online? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. The next one is the waiver of street tree location. This is specific to Route 611. We're asking for the street trees to be permitted to be outside of the required 15 feet. So the ordinance requires that the trees be planted within 15 feet of the ultimate right of way. We're requesting to be able to plant those further away from the ultimate right of way because again, that sewer easement, there's a force line and a sewer line that runs along the frontage of that property. So it's a location to push it back closer to the building.
Right, so that is the township's force main, so we would not allow them to plant trees in the easement. So this would be acceptable to move them behind that easement.
Okay. Claire made the motion. I'll second. I second. Claire and I second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment in person? Any comment online? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried.
Okay, and the last one is related to the right-of-way buffer planting requirement of the ordinance. What this boils down to essentially is we would be requesting relief from the requirement to plant 8 of the trees that are required as part of the buffer. Essentially, you take the length of the frontage that you have along the roads and you determine the number of trees that you're required to put in this area based on the buffer requirements, again, in the ordinance. We are somewhat restricted and limited to the corner with the clear sight distance triangle at the intersection to try to jam, for lack of a better term, all the rest of the trees that are required along the frontage. What our request would be is to take 8 of those required trees and do plantings like shrub plantings or something lower profile so as to not completely block the sight lines to the store from the surrounding roadways.
Bruce made the motion. Do I have a second? Claire, second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Any comment online? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we have to make a motion to table, right? Okay, I'll make a motion to table members first.
I think we need an extension
Oh,
because of.
Oh, I'm
the
sorry.
next- Well,
Yes.
the next meeting is February 9th, which you know how winter
So,
can
yes,
be
so,
sometimes up in the Poconos. So-
okay.
Okay, will you commit to a 90-day extension on this?
Absolutely. Okay, so then I will make my motion to table with the understanding that the applicant is giving us a 90-day extension to the 2/9/26 date. Do I have a second?
Second.
Joe, second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Any comment online? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
That'd be- Thank you.
I believe that we have on email that 3172 Route 715 minor residential development has withdrawn their application. So is there any action we have to do? Okay. I believe that's the same for 406 Cherry Lane Road. Okay. And then 135 Warner Road has a deadline of 2/9/26. So I'll make a motion to deny that unless we have a letter of extension from the applicant. Do I have a second? Second. Okay, Joe, second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Any comment online? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. And then I'll make a motion to table Alaska Pete's Roadhouse Grill. Do I have a second? Okay, Dennis, second. Any comment from the board? Any public comment? Any comment online? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay. New business, we have a joint work session, correct, on the 26th for the zoning ordinance, zoning map and SALDO amendments. Okay, and that's January 26th, 5 p.m. Okay.
5 p.m.
Yes, 5 p.m. Yes, the 26th. And that is Monday, right?
5 p.m. Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Do I have a, this is right? Okay. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Joe and Claire, second. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Have a good evening.